Hello, BookTube. Well, I've got some mail for you today. It's a snowy day. I was wrong. The snow did hit. It's been snowing on and off intensity all night long and all day long. Sometimes barely at all, and then other times so much you can barely see. And it is accumulating. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to look at the snow on the ground, to listen to people plowing and shoveling and whatnot, and think not only that this is probably the last sizable snowstorm of this winter, but that at any time, one of these could be the last sizable snowstorm that Boston gets, ever. It's just kind of weird. It's kind of weird to think. No less inconvenient, when the Bean and I went out first thing, the snow had not been plowed anywhere, and we were tromping through it. It was up to her nose. And it got an emphatic 9 from her. She did not like it at all. You know the video footage that you see on social media of dogs romping in the snow. The ground's suddenly different from what they remember, and it's a lot of fun. So they romp all around. Not my little baby. She saw that the ground was different, and she did not like that at all. She did her business and immediately turned around and headed back inside. But I have some mail for you nonetheless. Some mail did come through, and I had questions yesterday when I made my videos. I had questions about whether or not it was just incredibly irreverent or wrong for me to make silly YouTube videos when war is happening in Europe. And of course, the picture in Europe hasn't gotten any better in the next 24 hours. The protests, including on the streets of Moscow, the bravest people in the world, fighting all over Ukraine. Even the Baroque detail of Russian soldiers commandeering the facility at Chernobyl, and maybe doing so a little carelessly. Just and also what I have to summarize as a fairly timid international response, which I predicted. Keep in mind, I've been saying on this channel that the reason why Russia would invade Ukraine is because they've accurately sensed that there isn't the will in the West to stop them. The one hope that I have is that will is not an all or nothing thing. You can grow will. That's what I'm hoping that I see in the next few days. I'm hoping that in the next few days I see a drastic increase in the measures that the West is willing to take to stop this whole thing from getting any further than it already has. But either way, I was worried yesterday when I was making my videos that maybe I was just being irreverent, being tone deaf, as the kids on Twitter say. And boy, oh boy, your responses have proven that that was not the case. I mentioned yesterday in my videos that I wanted a break from constantly refreshing my news feed, and that maybe you did too. And I swear, I have had more emails on this subject in the last 24 hours than on any other subject I've ever raised on this channel. And all universal, saying, yeah, go ahead and make videos. We can definitely use the break. We also are refreshing our news feeds constantly, and always bad news. So I'm going to continue to make BookTube videos. Just keep in mind that I'm aware. I also am refreshing my news feeds. Just not when I'm making these videos, and not when I'm canoodling with Frida. You need to take a break from yourself. Like I mentioned yesterday, all the well-informed worrying in the world is not actually going to change anything. It's good to be informed, but if you're making yourself miserable, then you're doing it for literally no point at all. So we're going to go through. I've got 3 packages and a periodical, and the periodical is a little bit frustrating because it's a copy of the New Yorker. With the frustrating thing is not that it has a really neat cover, because it does. This one has a really good cover. Most of them aren't. Most New Yorker covers I don't like, but my distribution center, the mail distribution center, or whatever, whoever it was responsible, just decided to write on this cover. I have no idea why. I don't know what those symbols mean, but the cover, as you can see if you sort of block them out, is snow-covered cars, then melted cars, then the cars are gone, because once the snow is gone, everybody's back to work. I kind of like it as a cover. Since I'm talking about it, I should tell you. It's called Spring Ahead by Christoph Niemann. But I don't like it with marks on it. I might have saved this, but now my alternative would be to buy an issue on the newsstand for, what is this, $10? Yeah, New Yorker's $10. But there is, aside from the frustration of the cover, there is an article in here on minimalism that is tongue-in-cheek, mostly tongue-in-cheek, but it reminded me that it's been a while since I gave you an update on my minimalist journey here on this channel. So I will do that. I'll do that the next chance I get. But first we've got mail to go through. No boxes this time around. Just 3 paper envelopes. Let's see what the first 2 are. Oh, okay, all right. First 2 are Penguin Classics. Those of you who are new to the channel, I often get new Penguin Classics in the mail. Very happy about that. These are the finished copies of 2 books by Harry Crews. A Childhood, which is a biography of place, and The Gospel Singer. So 2 of the newest Penguin Classics with this new design of the big fat white banner and the block letters on the spine. And these are 2 of Harry Crews' best-known books. So I've had advance copies of both of these, and I haven't got to them. I'm assuming I'm getting these in the mail now because these are out or are coming out this month. That's my assumption here, but I need to get to them, is what I'm saying. Then we've got 2 of these manila envelopes here. Let's see what we have. Try not to destroy any paperwork. Oh, well, this paperwork was an invoice. Don't mind seeing that destroyed. Okay, so this is a May book. This is by Karen Wynne. It's a novel called Our Little World. The crack running down the picture of a picture-perfect cul-de-sac. No sheet on this at all. We'll just read from the book. The setting is July 1985. This continues a trend that I see often in fiction, murder mysteries, you name it, where the author will intentionally set the novel before smart technology, before cell phones, before the internet. I think part of it is just that everything that's written now is contractually autofiction, and a lot of authors grew up before that was universal. But I think a lot of it is also laziness. Those things complicate a storyline and maybe date it in a way that maybe you don't want. I'm not sure which is the reason here. But anyway, it's a normal, sweltering New Jersey summer for soon-to-be 7th grader B. Coxis. Her thoughts center only on a summer day spent at Deer Chase Lake, on evenings chasing fireflies around her cul-de-sac with the neighborhood kids, and on Max, the boy who just moved in across the street. There's also a burgeoning worry that she'll never be as special as her younger sister Audrina, who seems to effortlessly dazzle wherever she goes. So their names are B and Audrina. Exactly the kind of names that you would find in 1980s New Jersey. B and Audrina. But when Max's little sister Sally goes missing at the lake, Sally? I'm assuming that it's short for Salacious, or Saturn V, or something like that. B's long-held illusion of stability is shattered in an instant. As the families in her close-knit community turn inward, suspicious and protective, things in B's own home become increasingly strained, most of all with Audrina, when a shameful secret surfaces. With everything changed, B and Audrina's already fraught sisterhood is pushed to the limit as they grow up and apart in the wake of an innocence lost too soon. Okay, so lifelong narrative, sisters, childhood, idealism spoiled, and a murder mystery. Easy to think of this as a little bit of overreaching, which makes me wonder if this is a first novel, since overreaching is the hallmark of first novels. But what do we know about the author? I've never heard of Karen Wynne before. Karen Wynne received her MFA from Fairleigh Dickinson University. She also holds a doctoral degree in nursing, born and raised in New Jersey. Okay, so the factors are building towards this being autofiction and that being the reason for the setting. Because the author lives in the present day. We all live in the present day, right? Where it's unthinkable that we don't have the internet. It's unthinkable that we don't have cell phones. It's unthinkable that we don't have a laptop or an iPad or anything like that. That stuff is unthinkable. And the author lives in that world. And everyone the author knows lives in that world. So you're setting it, 40 years before then. But maybe not all of it is set that way. So it sounds like the narrative is following these sisters throughout their lives. Let's see here. Born and raised in New Jersey, Karen lives in Boston with her husband and 2 children. Our Little World is her first novel. Okay, so this is a debut novel. Great. That's fantastic. Very happy to have it. This doesn't come out until the early spring, so I don't have to deal with it for a while. But it had elements in it that sound good. Okay, this next one is one of these envelopes that are just packed to the gills with asbestos. Boy, oh boy, the weather outside is just so weird. Sometimes I look out the window here and there's barely any snowfall at all. Other times, howling winds like in a Hollywood movie, covered in snow. but it's supposed to end, the snow actually falling is supposed to end around sunset. So it's not going to go on forever, and it's going to go away. There's no more snow in the forecast for the next 20 days or so. I don't imagine it's going to snow again this year. It's fairly easy to be a little stoical about it, although I don't like snow. I don't like slippery sidewalks at all, and I don't like the fact that the bean does not enjoy being outside. She views it with deep suspicion. Anyway, what? Oh, great. Okay. This is a finished copy of something that we saw already from Viking. This is Sounds Wild and Broken: Sonic Marvels, Evolution's Creativity, and the Crisis of Sensory Extinction by David George Haskell. We got an advanced copy of this, and it actually had the date stamped right on the cover. This one does not, and it doesn't have a sheet, so I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is a March release. So let's go through this for those of you who don't remember it the last time. We live on a planet alive with song, music, and speech. The author explores how these wonders came to be. In rainforests shimmering with insect sound and swamps pulsing with frog calls, we learn about evolution's creative powers. From birds in the Rocky Mountains and on the streets of Paris, we discover how animals learn their songs and adapt to new environments. Below the waves, we hear our kinship to beings as different as snapping shrimp, toadfish, and whales. In the startling, divergent sonic vibes of the animals of different continents, we experience the legacies of plate tectonics, the deep history of animals and their movement around the world, and the quirks of aesthetic evolution. So, one of the little gists of this thing, from you can tell from the subtitle, is going to be that the humans are polluting the world with noise. They're filling it with noise. So the whales who used to be able to communicate across half a hemisphere now are basically sensory bombarded all the time, so that they don't even know where things are half the time. And that a lot of that is accidental, but a lot of that is intentional as well. Designed to herd them, designed especially to herd fish. And the same thing is true everywhere else. Most of humanity in the Northern Hemisphere lives in cities. Cities are full of noise. And what is that doing to the previously settled acoustic world of the animals that still live there? But it sounds like maybe an emphasis of this that I didn't really realize the first time is that a large part of this will be about stories of evolution, which is great. That's fantastic. You've got the cover here, a bird, some tree frogs, and whales. A popular work of evolution, popular work of natural history, fine by me. Just need to figure out the date on it, as it's this coming weekend. I need to rearrange my bookshelf. My newly rearranged bookshelf needs to be rearranged some more. I need to clear out the February books and really get a handle on the March titles. Put date tabs on all of them that don't have dates and that don't have pub sheets in them. Arrange them by publication week, so 1st of March, the 7th of March, that sort of thing. I need to do that for March and move all of those up so that they're more accessible, and weed out the doubles and triples, weed out the stuff that, I put everything on those shelves now that I get, but I know perfectly well I'm not going to review everything. There are quite a few books that I get that I know I'm not going to review, so I'll do that for March, give it a new shelf, then move everything else up and organize that as well. But that's this weekend. I'll just chuck this on the pile until then. So we have Sounds Wild and Broken, about the acoustic world of animals and how it evolved. Our Little World by Karen Wynne, her debut novel. And two new Penguin classics featuring the writings of Harry Crews in these new Penguin formats. Plus a New Yorker that unfortunately is defaced. How many crappy New Yorker covers have I got where I want nothing more than for someone to deface it? Here I've got something that I like and it's defaced. Just goes to show. I don't know what, but anyway, that's your mail haul for today. This is one half of the mail that usually gets delivered, but I'm not sure what the one missing partner here is the U.S. Postal Service. I'm not really sure what they're going to do today. They're heavily unionized. I know it's right there in their oath, neither snow nor rain nor driving sleet, but they're heavily unionized. They might not want to go out in weather like this, and I really can't blame them. So there might not be any more mail. I keep saying that. I keep wondering if I'm going to have to come back and do a second mail haul, but it hasn't happened recently, so I'm not going to worry about it. Wow, look at just blowing clouds of snow. It's treacherous footing. Most of the sidewalks are not shoveled or plowed here, so it's treacherously uneven footing. Frida doesn't like it at all. So the two of us we're biding our time until the next time we have to go out. We'll figure it out. I'm pretty sure that in a couple of days it'll be 45 degrees Fahrenheit and this stuff will start to disappear. This will be a distant memory. It's just going through it now today. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.